Head over to miniaturemarket.com. We have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Splendor Duel. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Just after Gen Con, I put out a sneak peek video about Splendor Duel because I got a chance to check it out at Gen Con. Well, now I have my own copy of the production version and I've had more time to spend with it, so now I want to give you a full review. So let's show you how it works. I'll see you on the other side. In Splendor Duel, you're going to be trying to gather cards, and these cards are going to be giving you points and abilities as well as crowns. You're also trying to get nobles that will give you points and abilities as well. The object of the game is to be the first to get to 20 total points, or 10 total crowns, or 10 points of any single color. The first to do so wins. Now these cards you're getting are in 3 different levels, 1, 2, and 3. And there are 5 of the first level, 4 of the second level, and 3 of the third level. Now you're going to be trying to get these again to try to get the points and the abilities needed to try to finish the game and win. Now to get the resources to get these cards, on your turn you'll be taking gems in a straight line, either vertically or horizontally or diagonally, and you can take up to 3 of them for your main action. But you can't take gold ones this way. So let's say I want to take these 2 whites and the pearl. And just like the 2-player version of Splendor, there's only 4 of each color of the gems, except pearls is a new resource. There's only 2 of those in the entire game. So let's say the next player says, great, you left me a bunch of greens. I'm going to take all 3 greens. Remember, you could take up to 3 of them. However, anytime you take 3 of the same color this way, the opponent will get one of these privileges. Now, the player that didn't go first actually gets one at the beginning of the game. But by doing that, taking 3 gems of the same color, the other player gets to get one, and these allow you to essentially get a free gem on a board at the beginning of your turn. So at the beginning of the player's turn, and they have a privilege, let's say they want to spend it, they can put it back next to the board and take any 1 gem. You cannot take a gold this way. And let's say they take the pearl, and then they would take their normal turn as usual. For example, let's say they take these 2 blacks. So on a future turn, let's say we had enough gems to get a card. Essentially, we would turn them in, like 2 blacks and 2 whites for this blue card right here. Now this card has a special ability. This allows me to take a gem from the board of the same color, blue. So I'll go ahead and pick which one I want. Now when you spend gems, they go into this bag, and I'll talk about how they come back out a little bit later. And then the card's replaced immediately. Now to get a gold gem, you simply take 1 of them from the board, and then you take any card that's available and reserve it. You're basically holding it in your hand to try to do it later, keeping it from the other player. Now you can hold this card in your hand, or you can put it down in front of you, maybe face down, or a way that you know that it's not done yet. But on a future turn, you could spend gems to do this, and it would go down in front of you, and in this case, you'd be getting 2 points and a crown, for example. Once you get 3 or 6 crowns, you then get to take a noble, and these nobles get you points and or some special abilities. Like this one allows you to take another turn. This one allows you to take a gem from somebody else, and this one allows you to get a privilege. Now at some part, the board's going to be empty enough where there won't really be any good moves for you, and you'll think about refilling it from the bag. Now in order to do that, you'll actually take all of the gems from the bag and put them in a specific way, following the arrows from the center and working your way out. However, by doing that, you are basically allowing the other player to get a privilege, because you're going to get the first choice and have the best choice, so the other player is going to get a privilege, which again they can use to get any gem on the board at the beginning of their turn. And here's what it might look like after refilling, because the players still have some of the gems. Now let's look at some of the special cards. This one's not even a color, it's a wild. Now you must have a card already in front of you to put it on, but when you get that, you put it there and it counts as that card. So now we have 3 points of blue, for example, and you get to go again because it has that special ability there. The first one at 20 points, 10 crowns or 10 points of the same color wins. All right, well, spoiler alert, I had a lot of good things to say about Splendor Duel after Gen Con, after getting a quick peek at it, and now I have even better things to say about it, or about the same, because it's fantastic. First, I want to just say that I love Splendor. I think the game is awesome. I think it's one of those games that I'll be playing forever. It's such a clever game that has simple mechanisms but great depth, and Marc Andre did an amazing job. I think it was like I don't know if it was his first published design, but it was the one that definitely put him on the map. So he has designed a great game. And now in partnering up with my favorite designer, Bruno Cathala, who obviously is like the master of 2-player games, and look what he did with Seven Wonders Duel and all these other 2-player games like Mr. Jack and all that. And it's interesting because he has sort of a background in sort of like chess, competitive chess. So a lot of his games have a very abstract nature. And that's the first thing I'm going to mention here is that the abstract nature in this game, the way you gain gems. Now, I get that some people might not like this as much, but I have talked to people that have played this and they all liked it too. And everyone I played it with liked it, but some people don't like abstract things. I saw even some comments on my original video that were like, yeah, I don't know why they're tacking on abstract stuff. Just taking the gems is great. That's what I liked about it. It was so streamlined. This is still very streamlined, but adding that extra element of trying to figure out what to take and when to take it and what you're leaving for the opponent. And, ooh, you know what? They need a red and a blue. They are probably going to take the blue over there that's next to the red. They're not going to take the one over here that's next to the green that I need. You can look, again, Splendor, the original Splendor was genius. You could always like look at the other players and plan a couple turns ahead, but understanding what they're probably going to be going for. Here it's the same thing, but it takes it to another level because now you know what they're going for, but you now need to look at the board and see, what does that mean? What are they going to take? What are they going to leave for me? For me, it just brought this game to a different direction that I absolutely love. It's my favorite part of this is the way that you now get the gems and just the decision space that opens up of looking at this turn and looking multiple turns ahead. Because you're not just looking at the cards now, you're looking at the gem placement. And this whole board thing, it feels very similar to Sobek 2-Player, which is a game that Bruno co-designed with Sebastian Pochon, the one that did Jaipur. And it was my 2-player game of the year last year. I mean, a lot of the similarities to that game came into this game. They're still very different games, but you could see how some of that inspired this. Speaking of that board, as it empties, it becomes a game of chicken. And I like that because it's like, okay, do I just want to take this one black one? I kind of do need a black gem. There is one on the board. I can just take a single one, but then they'll take a single one, maybe. Or maybe they'll fill it. Like, you just keep doing this thing like, I'm going to take this. Well, I'm going to take this. It's not great for either of us, but we're doing it because we're playing a game of chicken because the person that refills it has to give a privilege to the other player, but they get the first choice, which is kind of cool. The tension of when someone's going to be like, fine, I'll refill it, or like, there's nothing good out there, or they'll just do it because they're like, I see that you need all this stuff, I don't. Or, my favorite thing about this, in the end of Seven Wonders Duel, again, mentioning this because this is another co-design by Bruno Cathala, it's very interesting, like towards the end of the round, you can look at the cards that are available and you can go, there's 5 cards left, there's 2 of us, I have my turn, it's gonna go bump, 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 I'm gonna get the last choice, I'm probably gonna get that one. You can kind of like tech out the last few turns of the round. You kind of can do that here too, and I love it. The fact that it's like, they might take this, I'll take that, I'll take this, I'll take that. They're spread out, he might take those 2 and I'll take this. Either way, I'm gonna end up refilling it. So if I'm gonna end up refilling it, I might as well refill it now because there's nothing great for me here. Or you might go, you know what? I'm gonna refill it. It looks like I'm gonna get it, but all of these I could possibly use, so I'll just slow play it a little bit and see if they wanna be the one to refill it. Now refilling it's great because you do get the first choice, but you are giving them basically any gem they want. I love that aspect of it. Mathing out what's gonna happen at the end of the round or at the end of when something gets refilled is really cool. Holding on to the pearls to block them from getting pearl cards. Now, granted, you're basically forcing them to get a wild. Like, use your turn to use a wild. By the way, with the 3 wild gems here, I feel like the wild reserve thing, and again, it depends on the player style. I've played players in Splendor that are like, I never do the wild reserve. I often do it, depending on, and that's probably why I don't win, but it is a useful thing. I think you actually use it more in this because of the way the board shrinks and there's like wilds there. I think people use it, but you could take the 2 pearl resources and just hold them. Again, you're mucking up your hand and your 10 gen size, which I don't think I mentioned in the overview, same as Splendor, you gotta have 10 by the end of your turn. But by having those 2 pearls, you're stopping them from getting pearls without going and wasting a turn to get a wild to go do so, and I like that aspect. The special abilities on the cards, I like that aspect. Some of them, you're getting a privilege, or you're getting the gem of that color, or maybe you're, maybe it's a wild card. So you get one that gets to go on another, which is cool because one of the ways to end the game is getting 20 points, getting 10 points of one color. I like working on the crowns, another different thing to think about. When you think about Seven Wonders Duel, and I hate to keep coming back to this, but like, in that game, there's like 3 ways to win. You got military immediately, you got science immediately, you got the points at the end. And it's like, I've always loved that design space where immediate victories put tension. And here, all 3 of them are immediate. you know it's like 20 points, 10 of a color, or crowns. Or crowns, right? And it's like, it's this constant push and pull, and you're using those crowns to get the nobles that get you the points, but also get you the ability. It's just clever. I like it. The 3 immediate victory conditions and the way that they overlap, because it's like, okay, I'm working on these crowns. I've got 6 or 7 of them, but in getting crowns, I probably have a bunch of points. Or I'm going for all these points in red. They're blocking me from red. They're reserving red. They're not letting me get it. But guess what? If I've got 9 points in red, I'm already halfway to the main goal anyway. I like that they overlap and you're kind of like dancing around who's going to get the one that's going to win. I love this game. I think it's made Splendor a better game. I love Splendor. I'll still play it for the rest of my life. But if I'm playing 2-player Splendor, which by the way is also an excellent game, I'm still going to pick this because I love all these changes and I love the way it makes it think differently, the abstract nature. I'm always going to pick it for 2-player. But Splendor 2-player on its own, the original game is amazing. Great design by Marc Andre. And I'm sure he had a lot of great ideas that went to this one as well. Not just Bruno here. Now, the only negative I have to say, and I'm really stretching here, some of the cards, especially, I think it's the one with the little crowns on them, like the actual like tiara that it looks like, they have a color at top, and they might be blue or green, but then just below that is like a red banner, and at the bottom is a red banner, and often I look at those cards, I'm like, oh, that card's red. It's not red, it's the color that's above it. All the other ones have very different colors from the banner. This one has a color that is one of the other colors in the game, and it can be confusing. I wish they would have just made it gray underneath that, or something. That's my only nitpick here. Other than that, this game is fantastic, and for all these reasons, it's getting my Highness honor, which is a saxophone serenade, which means it's going to go into my new arrivals section in my gaming library. About 6 months later, once things cycle through new arrivals, I'll have to find a game to get rid of to fit this one in. Luckily, it's a small box, so it shouldn't be that hard. I might even be able to cheat and put it all in the Splendor box. I might do that. Anyway, this has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games, by helping you on the next one you'll love. Game Toppers not only transforms your existing table to a high-quality gaming solution, they now offer full leg kits and dining cover solutions for the full table application. Paired with their amazing, thematic, premium stitch edge mats from noted board game artists like Vincent Dutray, collapsible cup holders, and really cool accessories, it's a complete system that upgrades every game you play. Go to GameToppersLLC.com or click the link below to late pledge for their latest Game Topper 3.5 Kickstarter campaign.